Greetings, fellow dragon fruit growers. This is Paul, and today Tricia and El Grullo are going to go head to head. El Grullo is Hyloceus ocamponus, and look at that, it's 1¼ pounds, where Tricia is a little smaller at 65 hundredths of a pound. Now, an interesting story, or I guess fact I should say, is that El Grullo is the parent plant of Tricia. El Grullo is brought up, it's Hyloceus ocamponus, and it was brought up by Romero Lobo from Jalisco State in Mexico. And you can see this is a Hyloceus ocamponus, and it's a dense flavored fruit, dense fleshed fruit, I should say, and they get rather large. They can be almost 2 pounds. So nice red fleshed fruit, and it's really pretty. It's one of my favorite looking varieties. Not my favorite tasting though. And then this one is Tricia. And Edgar Valdivia named it after one of his daughters, and he took El Grullo and crossed El Grullo with a Hyloceus undatus, a white flesh variety, and this is the result. So let's cut it open and let's compare the colors and the flavors today. So you can see they are similar in color. So the white undatus DNA did not affect the color. Ocamponus DNA seems to be really, really strong in my experience of growing different varieties. So when you use this variety, it seems that this is kind of like the dominant DNA. Maybe it's just a light, tiny bit more magenta. I mean, they are a tiny bit different, but very slightly. You can see this Tricia is really ripe. It's thin skin. The skin is all thin. Let's give this a taste. It's pleasant. The texture is more grainy than some of my other favorite varieties, but it's not bad, but it's definitely not my favorite. So let's see the sweetness content. Let's BRIX it. And that's not that high, in my opinion. I can already kind of tell that it's just a 15 or 16, but we'll see. I could be wrong. It is sweeter the more each bite I have. So I'm detecting more sugar. 15.3, 15 and 3/10. It's respectable. Anything above the 14s is, in my opinion, is a good fruit. It's quite nice. It's just the texture is not my favorite. It's a bit more grainy. You know the difference between like really fine sugar and larger granules of sugar? It's kind of like that. Just more granular. No earthiness though. It's a really good fruit. Compared to, let's try the bigger half, El Grullo. Much more earthy. El Grullo is a much more earthier flavored fruit. Wow, it's kind of cool doing this back to back. So you can just see how much it changes from one generation to the next. But hands down, I would, if you can grow both or only grow one, grow Tricia. Tricia is a better fruit in my opinion. Definitely better. Now let's see, I think this one's probably a little sweeter, but the texture is not as good as Tricia. And there's a much more earthiness to it. So the undatus kind of got rid of some of the earthiness flavors in this fruit when it was hybridized, when Tricia is much less earthy. Get one more. You can see it's not as juicy as some of the other varieties I've tested. That's just kind of the nature of the beast, of the variety. So 16. So definitely very similar in sugar content, but the flavor profiles are so much different. So again, El Grullo is a denser fruit. Very kind of grainy texture. It's the only drawback about Ocamponus. But it's not beady. That one is, there's no, I mean, it doesn't taste like plants or it's not very earthy. It's just the seeds are a little earthy. That's how I describe El Grullo. Where with this one, Tricia, the texture is just a little bit lighter. And the flavors are just much better. Raspberry. And the seeds are much less earthy. So again, if you're gonna only grow one, if you can only grow one, grow Tricia in my opinion, on the left. Both of the plants are really spiny. So again, going head to head, Tricia, the seedling of El Grullo, grown by Edgar Valdivia, is a much better fruit. So hands down, I prefer this one. Give it about a 7.5 out of 10. This one I give about a 6.5 out of 10. So there you go. Give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.